Shalom. This is page 97, corresponding to Mem Tes, chapter 28 of Shaar HaEmunah, written by the Middler Rebbe. And we're talking about right now is three levels of perceiving Gechlikkeit, three levels of perceiving Hashem. The first level is the Neshamas Bagufim, the souls in the bodies. The second level is the Malachim Elyonim, which is the higher angels, and they perceive a aura of Elokim, meaning they perceive a chayos, of an existence of Hashem. And then there's the lowest level, which is the Ayin Shadim, the 70 angels. Each angel corresponding to the 70 nations of the world. 70 nations for the 70 nations of the world. And they are on the lowest level. They perceive God to be the God of gods. So they say, okay, good, there's a God. But he's the God of these other gods who kind of have their own existence. That's what the Ayin Shadim see and believe. The 70 Malachim. So what happens to these Ayin Shadim? That Shelmat of down here, Kishyodim Lashbia Ba'agashma, that they come down here below, and there's a certain giving over of Gashmias to the Gashmias. The doimim sameach chai u'medaber, to the stones, to not just the stones but also the vegetation life and the animals and the humans. And it's interesting because the Alter Rebbe uses the lashon lashbia ba'gashma. That means to give over to the gashmias. So what I'm thinking is that the 70 malachim have a direct shaykhis to physicality in terms of they give over, so to speak, from their own flow into the physical world to make it be. That's how the Eibishter created it. And as it says, there's a famous Gemara that says there's not one blade of grass that grows in this world that's not in this world without an angel sitting over it telling it to grow specifically. So there's a malach over every blade of glass, every blade of grass in this world, and telling it to grow. So same thing here too. Yesh behem toiv v'ra. I'm not sure what he means by there is in each of these toiv v'ra. Does that mean in the physical world there's toiv v'ra? That we know. Does that mean in the malachim themselves is there toiv v'ra? Pirur bitol leparekim. They're separate, yet they're bitol leparekim, to be frightened. I think it's referring to the malachim, these Ayin Shadim. Why? Because they refer to God as the God of gods. So like there's good in them. There's in these 70 malachim. There's also bad in them, so to speak. Not that they choose to be bad. It's just in terms of how they see things, meaning that they see God to be the God of gods. That's these 70 malachim in the world. And why is that bad? It's bad because they're not just saying it's God and that's it. Rather, they're saying there's God and then there's like lower gods, so to speak. That's what these Ayin Shadim believe. Chulu Yiru Mahashem. Oh, sorry. Kanis Kre'el. Sheyesh Yira Upachad Elokim. They have fear and they have awe of Hashem. Leparakim. To be frightened of Him. Gam b'malchei Adam, and also in the kings of this world, just like people are afraid of the kings in this world. Mi lo yerucha, for it's impossible for one to be like you. Okay, yira l'Hashem, they have a fear of Hashem. Chulu. So basically, the idea is that they still have a certain fear of Hashem. Ukamoy hasidei umas ha'olam, just like the righteous Gentiles of this world. Shemoidim ba'adama, that they admit ubitol mamish, and they have a true self-nullification. V'karuli elokah, and they call God the God of gods. So that's the idea of the malachim, of the angels, of the 70 malachim of this world. They call God the God of gods. Lehepach harbe yesh shehen bebechinas pirud gamor lemarud. And lehepach, it's to transform very much, that there is within them, within this level of the 70 malachim, to be separate and to completely rebel against the Eibishter. Now, how is that? Because of their sefa, the way they draw down godliness in the world, the way they draw down things, they make it possible for people to completely rebel against the King of Kings. They themselves can't rebel. They don't have that ability. They don't have free choice, but they give the ability to make it happen. Nimrod, ukahai gavna, like Nimrod did, like he built the Tower of Bavel, tried to rebel against the Abishur directly. Ukamoi basar shel Mitzrayim, and like the Malach who was in charge of Mitzrayim, Sha'amar, li Yu'oiri. Who is Hashem that I should listen to him? So this is what the Malach said, that I made the river and I made myself. And then that got drowned on to Pharaoh, and he said, oh, look, the river rises to me when I come to it, so therefore I made the river and I created myself. Pharaoh really believed he created himself. He believed himself to be a deity. It is well known that kings and so on perceive themselves to be God, to be a God. Amar mi Hashem, who is Hashem that I should listen to him? Ki heim mekablim mach tzerupi achreinim. So what happens at this level of the ayin shadim, that they receive from the 48 combinations of the letters, of like the latter letters. So they receive from the last 48 combinations of letters, is a Kabbalistic concept, and as a result of that, the shefa that they receive is like so low and so like on the back end of things, they're able to kind of like twist things around a little bit. According to their own capacity. Not from free choice, but that's just how the light sort of goes into their own channel, where things can get kind of switched around. It's ultimately so that we can get free choice in this world. Bechiris hafshias, free choice. Because obviously if we just receive direct godliness, then there wouldn't be really kaviyachol, free choice. Of course, then the question comes, what about the world to come? Well, we still have free choice then, of course. Then we'll have the choice to go from one mitzvah to the next. But anyways, make these ayin malachim, so to speak, give the ability to give a person to the choice between good and bad, because a person feels themselves to be separate from godliness, essentially. The Shem Elokim da Asiyah. This is the God in the world of Asiyah, of this physical place. V'zehu asher hoitzesecha me'eretz Yisraim, shehen yud kesarin de klipas noiga. Uparo keser de klipa, shakal nun shari tuma. Okay. This, that God took us out from the lands of Egypt to be a God unto us. Okay, so what did he take us out from? He took us out from this place in Egypt where there's the Yud Kasarin de Klipas Noiga, meaning there's the 10 crowns in the world of Klipas Noiga, in the world, so to speak. In this level of Klipa, that places that essentially covers up on Hashem, and there's 10 crowns over there. Uparo keser de klipa, and Paro himself was like the crown of all the klipas, and so Hashem took us out from that very dark place. Shakal nun shari tuma, which includes within itself this klipas noiga in that world, in Mitzrayim, included within itself the 50 gates of impurity, as it says when the Hebrew Israel left from Me'eretz Mitzrayim. They left from the land of Egypt. They were from the 49th gate of impurity, and if they had been there left for one more second, they would have fell into the 50th gate, and Hashem wouldn't have been able to redeem them. And when they got out, of course, they started counting the Sfira, which are according to the 49. They counted 49 days until they reached the 50th day, Shavuos, and everything there is connected. Anyways, Vainu Elokei Mitzrayim, the God of Mitzrayim, She'asa Behem Shoiftim, that God in Mitzrayim, he did judgment to them. For ois umuvsim, and he did for us miracles. So it's not just the God of Mitzrayim, but God, that while we were in Mitzrayim, he did miracles for us, and he did judgments upon them. Hulu, shehu bito ushvira lemesach de klipas noiga, hamayli biyoyse. The whole purpose of Hashem bringing us out was in order to nullify and to break the coverings of the klipas noiga, in order so that Hashem himself should be revealed. So he took himself out from the coverings that he himself was within Egypt.